Well, it happened again. So this weekend there was a lot of YouTube boxing on. There was actually two events in particular. There was Misfits Boxing and then there was Kingpyn Boxing. And don't worry, this video isn't going to be a boxing analysis. I'm not going to get into the statistics behind how many shots were thrown and all that shite. In fact, we're going to look at some of the more bizarre moments of the weekend. The Misfits was the first event to happen this weekend. It was in America, and the first thing I noticed was nobody showed up. Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah, I think it's a clear sign that people might be getting a bit bored of this YouTube boxing stuff, unless it is like a KSI or a Jake Paul or something, because realistically, that's 10% full. But the 22 people in attendance did actually get to witness history this night because they witnessed the first boxing match to end by ground and pound. Like, sometimes you see boxers getting hit after the bell or after a fight's been stopped, but it's usually one or two punches. It's just out of momentum. But that was a lot of fucking punches. And by the way, the guy who turned into an MMA fighter halfway through is actually the same guy who gave us this clip.
Break your knees, I like that. Oh, boy.
Like, surely you've just got to say to yourself, maybe boxing isn't for me. But yeah, he got disqualified for the whole ground and pound thing, rightfully so, like, you're not allowed to do that, so he ended up losing the fight, but that didn't stop him going on Twitter and giving it the big one like he just fought Mike Tyson and knocked him out in the first round. Here he is quote retweeting a video of himself dancing on his walkout with the goat emoji, and here he is with a few pictures of himself saying, "What will I say now?" as if he didn't just lose the fight because he didn't know the rules of boxing. And in case this guy didn't already make a tit of himself, he then later on tried to start a fight with Nate Diaz out of all people. Like, cheers, mate, just give it a rest, will you, okay? I promise you, that is not a good idea. And just when you thought this event couldn't get any weirder, Nate Diaz actually got kicked out for this incident, and then later on in the night, choked out Logan Paul's lookalike, thinking it was Logan Paul. Yeah, as you can see, Logan Paul's lookalike is saying, "Don't want to fight, I'm not Logan Paul, by the way." Nate Diaz doesn't care, gets him in a standing guillotine, and then I can't show you the rest, but just lets him go, and he cracks his head on the floor. Which is not the most ideal situation, is it? Like, if it wasn't already enough of a struggle having to walk around every day with people thinking you're Logan Paul, knowing fine well what people's opinions are on Logan Paul, like, this just has to put the icing on the cake, doesn't it? Like, some days people will think you're a crypto scammer who recorded a dead body in Japan, and other days you might get choked out by an ex-UFC fighter. It must be a tough life. Also, side note, Jake Paul actually responded to this whole situation because he's fighting Nate Diaz soon with probably the most unfunny video I think I've ever witnessed.
Now, if you look anything like a Paul brother, keep your eyes peeled because the streets are hot. Now, I'll be demonstrating the MMA
Is he reading a
fighting,
script? Like, why is he looking down like that? I hope for his sake that he's not reading a script, because if this was planned out, then this is even more embarrassing than it is at first glance.
Oh, so I got him in this chokehold now, and what you're going to want to do is take out your safety snorkel and insert the snorkel for extra airflow. So now that you're able to breathe during the chokehold, you're going to escape and punish, run away.
Yeah, that was an excruciating watch, I can't lie. But anyways, let's move on to the second influencer boxing event of the weekend, which was Kingpyn. It was more of a tournament format. They have a quarterfinal, then a semi-final, and then a final and a winner. I don't know why I'm describing what a tournament is. You're not fucking stupid. But there was one fight that wasn't part of the tournament, and it was Ed Matthews, a TikToker here in the UK, versus Blueface, ex-rapper, or still a rapper, I don't really know, but they actually made a bet going into this fight, and if Ed Matthews won, he would get the 200 grand necklace that Blueface was wearing, and if Blueface won, he would apparently get Ed's girlfriend.
Ask him what I get if I knock him out.
You can have my girl, bro. Like, that's how confident I am, man.
Man.
And lo and behold, Blueface won, and then he proceeded to say this in his post-fight interview.
Ed, girl is coming back to California. He already put her on the line, Ed. Yo, girl coming with us, man. Sorry.
Honor the bet. The man of his word. He brought the peace. I guess we'll see.
Like, I'm sorry to break this to you, but you can't really use human beings as part of a bet. Like, the way they were saying it after the fight was almost like it was non-negotiable, as if the girl doesn't have a choice in the matter, and she just has to fly to LA now because Ed Matthews put her on the line without her knowledge. Not really how it works, and also, if your boyfriend is willing to put you on the line as part of a bet, maybe you should think to yourself, It's not really for me. Well, we had some more blockbuster fights with FaZe Jarvis versus Tom Zanetti, where Tom Zanetti just decided he no longer wanted to box halfway through.
He makes him work for every punch that Jarvis gets. Look, every time he comes in, Tom throws 2 or 3.
Oh, they're going to
he's had enough, I think.
That's it. That's
that was his tactic. Knock him out. I can't go to 5.
Quite literally just decided halfway through that he didn't want to do it anymore, and then give his reasoning in the interviews afterwards, which, I mean, you've got to respect the honesty.
To be honest, I've never once said that I wanted to win, you know, I come here to have fun, I enjoyed it. I just come to a point where, like I said, I've said it in other interviews, couldn't be asked, bro.
It really is given the whole Bryce Hall saying that he was never a fighter type vibes, but I mean, fair play to Tom. I wouldn't want to get punched either. And then we move on to something that genuinely shocked me, and I felt very ignorant for not even knowing this in the first place. But Whindersson Nunes, who is a Brazilian influencer, YouTuber, Instagrammer, like everything to do with socials basically. And I knew he was massive because he has like 50 million Instagram followers, God knows how many YouTube subscribers, like clearly he was very famous. But I didn't realise how famous he was, because bear in mind, this event was in the UK, but pretty much 90% of that crowd were Brazilian. I mean, you could hear how loud the crowd was, and they were that loud for the entirety of the time that Whindersson Nunes was in that ring, and genuinely, I don't think I've heard a crowd be so loud at one of these influencer events. And like I said, this was in the UK, so you can only imagine what the noise would be like if he fought in Brazil, and with that being said, I want to know, like, any Brazilians watching this fight right now, how famous is Whindersson Nunes in Brazil? Because it seems like he's genuinely on, like, Justin Bieber levels. I mean, his Instagram post after the fight already has 3 million likes. I genuinely feel so ignorant for not knowing this side of YouTube, but, yeah, I definitely know now. And then we got to the main event, and the reason why I'm putting that in quotation marks is because it was technically the main event, it was the last fight, but by the time we got there, 90% of the arena was empty. Because this was after the Whindersson Nunes fight, and like I said, pretty much all the crowd there were Brazilian cheering for Whindersson, and they just couldn't give a shit about Austin Mcbroom versus Gib. But Gib won the fight anyways, and it got stopped because Austin Mcbroom apparently broke his ankle, and obviously if he did actually break his ankle, that is obviously a good enough reason to stop the fight. You can't fight with a broken ankle. But it's just hard to believe him nowadays, isn't it? Like, the amount of times that Austin has lied in the past, who's to say he isn't lying now? I've looked at the clip so many times of where he apparently twisted his ankle and broke it, and they've actually used the word shattered his ankle, and I can't see any point where he goes over on his ankle. It generally just looks like he turns around and then he kind of walks on his ankle afterwards, which I'm not sure if you could really do if you shattered it. But who knows, it could very well be true. It did just seem a bit weird because when it did happen was exactly when Gib was kind of warming into the fight and landing some big shots. And the fact that they were saying that Austin shattered his ankle whilst he was still in the ring instantly after it happened, when obviously you would need an x-ray to see if it's broke, I just don't get it. It seemed a bit weird, but maybe I'm being stupid. But yeah, either way, I'm gonna leave the video there. I just did want to talk about some of the more funny moments that I've seen from the YouTube boxing stuff this weekend, because it was very bizarre to say the least. And yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on anything we spoke about in today's video, and if you did enjoy, please do a like down below, subscribe if you are new, and if you want to let me know topics to talk about in future videos, the best way to do that's on my Instagram. It's at MARKIE, and it's always linked in the description. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.